Hi, and welcome back to the Will You Survive podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Erik.
And today we're going to be reviewing Will You Survive Resident Evil.
One of my favorite movies. I watched this when I was very, 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 very little. And my baby sister just watched this. So.
And I used to play the original video game on PlayStation 1.
Yeah, you know, we were talking about this. I guess we're just going to jump right into this because I want to bring this up. You were saying that we both acknowledged right in the very beginning of the movie, we brought up the fact that Resident Evil stays very true to the fact that it's not a movie franchise, it's a video game franchise.
Yeah.
And even the movies reflect that.
Yeah.
A lot of people have a problem with Resident Evil because they're like, oh, the directing sucks and it's so cheesy and stupid, but it's a video game.
Yeah.
This is basically, like Alex said, this is basically a long filmed out cutscene that you're watching, and you could see that when they see the overview, when he's explaining the hive and they see the overview and the map of the hive, the way it zooms in and zooms out and shows you different areas, it's very video game-esque. It's like preparing you for a mission.
Exactly. It kind of shows you, it gives you the whole perimeter, shows you around the whole facility. The other thing that I pointed out to you while we were watching Resident Evil was the fact that when Alice wakes up, she comes out, gets dressed, goes through the drawers. As she's looking through the drawers, she sees one of the drawers is a locked safe with guns inside of it. And you just have that flashing locked sign on it. I'm like, dude, that is the video game. You're going to come across things like that all the time in every Resident Evil game. It's like, oh man, if I could have those right now, I would be set.
Yep.
And in the old game, I mean, God forgive me, guys, I haven't played that game in forever, but you didn't get a gun for quite a little while. And then once you did get the gun, you only had like 10 rounds. And thankfully, you don't come across zombies very often at the beginning. It's not until you progress a little further into the game.
Yeah, when you actually start getting weapons.
Yeah, it starts getting pretty gnarly.
See, Resident Evils are pretty good about making sure that you're ready for the challenge up ahead. Mm-hmm. That's why I never really hesitate to just keep going forward in Resident Evil, because they are kind of linear games.
Yeah. You're not going to leave something behind that you absolutely needed.
Yeah, they make sure you get everything you need.
Yeah, you can't progress if you don't get everything that you, quote, needed. You can make it a whole lot harder on yourself, and you can, because in the game there's multiple ways to complete a mission. So you don't have to go and kill every single zombie. You can run around them. Now, I'm talking about the original again.
Well, like the older games, it was actually centered around that. You weren't supposed to kill the zombies. It took way too many bullets.
Right.
You didn't have enough.
Right.
It would take like 10 bullets, and 8 of your bullets would be spent killing one zombie.
Yeah, there was, I think we were talking about the next video game in the line. I think that was there something in between number 1 and Nemesis in the games? When you face that Nemesis, no, I think it was number 2. Number 2, you were in Raccoon City, and you were...
the Resident Evil games, at least now, don't necessarily follow the movies.
Right. I saw that.
The movies, like, very roughly follow the games, but they just stay true to, like, characters and the zombies.
Right. And but the causes all over the world is completely different. Now, into the movie... I loved the way they started this thing. They come out at you with this whole amnesia thing. You don't know why, you don't know where, you don't even know who. And you saw, I think they did a good job of letting you know that she was completely bonked out of her mind. Like, she didn't know who she was. When she put saw that piece of paper with the writing on it, and she wrote.
I took note of this too.
She was like, that's not my writing.
I thought that was so interesting. She wrote to see if that would be her handwriting, mm-hmm. which I got to say, I'm a little too stupid to do that.
I mean, that was brilliant.
I don't think I would have done that. I would have looked at that and I would have just immediately been like, who left this note? And I could have been the one to have written that. I would have had no idea.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I'm that smart.
No, I think you would surprise yourself, because if you were completely,
that's true. If I even looked and went like, I don't even know what my handwriting looks like, maybe I would.
It would take the look at the paper. You're watching this writing. You're looking at this writing that's on this piece of paper, and you're wondering, is this mine? who wrote this? Or you might not even think that at the time, right? You go through things so nonchalantly most of the day. You get out of the shower, you walk over to your dresser, and then you look at it and you start to think. You think, did I write that note? Wait, what does my writing even look like? And
yeah, there would be a thought process that would go through that.
I think she just got there quick, but that was probably for our sake.
Well, I think that also just kind of shows Alice as a character. She's fucking smart. She's really smart and really good. She just doesn't know it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, you find out later that she's really smart. Now,
and a badass.
Okay, starting off from the beginning, right? We're jumping into the plot already because we have to kind of just get right into it with this movie.
We're in the hive in the
she's
very beginning.
Drugged.
I was talking about like the intro. We kind of skipped over the intro, but long story short.
Oh yeah, the intro.
The intro is basically, it shows you the T virus gets exposed and it gets,
sabotage. All you know is sabotage.
Well, in the intro, they make it kind of seem like it was an accident.
No. You see him throw it.
Oh, no? Oh, man, I missed it both times that I watched the intro this morning. But
yeah, he tosses it. So you see whoever's in the hazmat suit. He's in a full covered head to toe oxygenated suit. And when he collects all of these samples, they're just different vials. You see all of these different vials going into a case. The case gets locked up. It gets sealed completely shut. He puts it in a bag, and as he's walking away, you just see his hand, and you see the vial and just tosses it in the air. And
it was
breaks.
a classic 2000s slow motion as it goes and hits it. And I was actually noticing the way they did effects and stuff. I was just taking note that was older technology, and you could see the grain. You could see they couldn't get a crystal clear HD image like we can today. It just kind of makes you appreciate.
Exactly.
But there's a certain charm to those kinds of movies, like I said in a previous episode. But anyways, this guy sabotages, and then you see that the building just starts killing all the workers inside.
Yep.
And we find out later there was a reason behind that, but
there was an AI security system called the Red Queen that in dry areas of the building, it shot halon in offices. So it shot halon and locked them all in, and it appeared like they were oxygen sealed places, which makes sense because you learn quickly that this whole entire place is underground.
Yeah.
So there's nowhere for the air to go anyway. So there's oxygen being pumped in. You have to presume that the AI that's controlling all of the security in the entire
can control
building
the oxygen as well,
cuts the flow of the vents,
which we know is the case,
and then spreads halon in other places. Turned on the fire sprinklers where there were no floor drains. There were no way out. There's nothing coming out of it.
To drown
it was sealed
them.
Because it was a virus. It was a viral load room. So, it's always sealed completely when they're working on this stuff. So it just fills up with water and kills them all that way.
Yeah, but these were all like paper pushers of the company. The real dark shit went deep underground below them. But these were the people who just unfortunately got exposed to the T virus because the Red Queen explains later it got in the vents.
Yep.
And even she couldn't stop the exposure to everybody. So she had to do the only thing she could, kill them all. Anything with a T virus in it, kill it.
Don't let them out.
It was everybody. They couldn't let it out to the general public.
So then Alice. It cuts out after everybody in the hive is shown to be dead. It kills everybody in all kinds of various ways. And Alice wakes up in the shower. The shower's been running for a long time, presumably. I even speculate, I don't know this, but I speculate that she got in the shower earlier in the day, like maybe even in the morning. And now it's sunset.
Yeah,
so
it's dusk.
How long did all of these people get knocked the fuck out? So she wakes up, amnesia, carries on. She's trying to put things together. She's walking around this place that she doesn't even know where she's at. She's, this is home to her. She sees wedding photos of herself and a man who is presumably her husband, but she doesn't recognize the guy. So she carries on. As we said, she checks her handwriting compared with a note that she sees just to see who wrote that thing. And little does she know that she's at the entrance to the hive. You come to find this out when all of the sudden, action, bang, boom, somebody grabs her from inside of the doorway as she's watching what you see is the wind blowing at the house. All the leaves are
very
flying
ominously.
toward the house. And it's a real creepy feeling. But quickly you learn that that's a helicopter on approach, and they're flying really low. And the guy who grabbed her claims to be a cop. The special forces come breaking in, so you know something's up. And I remember the very first time I watched this movie, I thought, that is such a strange thing. I thought she was having a dream when the commanding officer who comes barging in, he's just known as One. That's all his name is in the movie. He comes barging in and grabs her, lifts her up. The other character that we just saw, he's claiming himself to be a cop. His name is Matt. As he's being arrested, they're checking his ID and everything. This random commando comes in, grabs Alice, lifts her up and says, report. And she just stares blankly at him. He grabs her, turns her around the corner. Give me your report. She says, what?
He calls her soldier too.
Soldier. And so now you're like, what is going on? I seriously thought this was some kind of a recurring dream she had.
That's so interesting. I didn't even really think about that perspective because, I mean, this movie came out when I was very, very little. I was a year old when it came out. So I definitely wasn't seeing it in theaters. But that's interesting. Somebody watching it for the very first time, just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, I was completely baffled. And if you remembered the first time that I watched this with you, I think you were probably still in diapers.
I only remember the jump scares.
Well, when you were that young, you didn't even care. You know what was the funniest thing about you, just a sidetrack, is on Halloween, your grandma would let you watch scary movies, but she would mute the TV, and you would not be afraid at all by any of the images. And she always told me it's the sounds that scared them. And I remember this one Halloween, I'm going out, and I get Halloween ready, dressed up, big event for Halloween, which I never do. And we were leaving you with your grandma. And I actually think it was with your mom that this was going down.
I kind of figured that one out.
And so your grandma's watching you, and we go walking into her bedroom, and there you are watching Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, you know what? I'll tell you.
What is going on?
That movie scared the shit out of me when I was like 10 or 12. One of those two.
Funny.
Because my mom, she had it on, and I guess she might have been thinking back to that moment and going like, no way he's scared, right? I would not even walk up the stairs. I was so scared. Like, I had to walk up the stairs, and to the left, you had to like take a left and then take another left to get into my brother's bedroom. It was just like a quick little U-turn. Mine was like diagonally to the left, and then to the right, it led to the loft. I was so scared Freddy Krueger was going to be either on the right or the left, and I couldn't look both ways fast enough to trust myself to go. So I would not go up those stairs.
That's funny. I didn't know that. You know, I even took you to a different movie when you were really little.
Oh, yeah, you told me about this.
Constantine.
The one with Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, yep, he's an exorcist.
Also, bless that man.
Oh, he's a good guy, apparently, man. I've seen a bunch of videos about him.
Anonymously
awesome
donating to a hospital for years.
You know, one of my favorite things.
I think it was a hospital. I could be wrong. He was donating a lot of money.
I forget what television show this was because I never care about late night hosts and all of that stuff. But one of the greatest things I had ever seen was they asked him, I think trying to get him into some kind of a gotcha. What do you think happens when we die? And he stops and he just says, oh, you know, I know that the ones who love us will miss us. I'm like, dude, you are fucking brilliant. You didn't get suckered in to this spiritual or non-spiritual. You know what? You all believe whatever you want to believe. You're going to ask me what I think happens. This is what I know happens. Why does it matter what I think?
What? That is such a good approach. Okay, but we got to go back to Resident Evil.
Well, where we were going was Constantine. You were really little, and I remember these people were kind of scoffing because, like, I know their thought was, why is this guy bringing in a kid like to this movie? It was a matinee, so it was like there was a good chance that, you know, some people gave me the benefit of the doubt and thought, oh, he doesn't know what kind of movie this is. You know, This is a jump scare kind of scary movie. I think some clearly were looking at me like, this fucking kid's going to be scared. And we get all the way through that movie, and you get up with your popcorn. You love popcorn. I don't know where you got that from because I can't stand the stuff. But you had your popcorn.
I don't like popcorn. Well, I'm indifferent about it.
Movies?
Yeah,
go to the movies and you want popcorn?
I don't want popcorn. I want candy.
Well, now you had your candy then too. So you get up, you're holding both of those, and you said, "That was awesome, Dad." And I remember the people behind me were like, "That is so cool." And I thought, there was all these judging eyes at first, and then you just freaking loved that movie. But you watched this movie pretty young as well. I don't know the first time you remember it, but that was my memory of the first time watching this. I was so confused, and I think that's what the director wanted you to experience. Confusion. What is going on?
Yeah,
right? That's what she's going
kind of just had no idea what was going on, like, in general at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, because I was a baby. But
I mean, when you first remember this movie, what comes to mind when you watched it? I'm thinking if the director did his job, you were confused.
Right now, today was the first time I truly watched that movie. Because I watched it so long ago that I never really came back to watch it because I was like, I've already seen it before. It's a great movie. I love it, but I'm going to watch one of the newer ones. I'm more confused on those ones, honestly.
Yeah.
I had no idea how much I didn't know about the first Resident Evil. There's so much that I'm watching. I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. And I just things I never noticed before. The whole amnesia part, I was confused as hell.
Yeah.
I didn't get it, but I knew where it ended. So I kind of already knew. But yeah, I guess I kind of did feel the same thing. I was a little confused.
Thought it was good. It was good on the director to keep us confused. And then you get the whole word as they're breaking into the hive, right? That was your video game sequence, which I have to agree. It just went from this electronic schematic showing their location on the map going toward this area,
and now a dramatic zoom on the door as it opens, and so the people run through and the door closes behind them.
Exactly.
Resident Evil.
You have this whole video game sequence going on, and they're down getting welding into, like, they're cutting the lock panel out of the big giant door leading into the hive.
The only thing they're missing there is a defend the location sequence.
Yeah, they could have had a whole sequence where they fought this guy. So what interested me,
I think it's good that they waited, because I think one of the charms about the first Resident Evil is that they don't jump right into the zombie. Don't see, they make it's more of a horror movie, not just a shoot zombie movie.
Right.
And I really like that. They take a lot of time to
I wouldn't
set
even
it
say
up.
horror. I'd say suspense.
Oh yeah, okay. I'd say suspense. Well, you could say horror because it's zombies. I guess we're just kind of I think we're very desensitized to horror.
Well, I guess so.
Like, but what I call horror, there's not a lot that I consider horror.
Yeah. But I think that the jump scares are there. They get you a couple of times in this movie.
The one that always gets me, the one that it didn't get me today. I've grown up. I'm an adult now. The one that used to always get me when I was a kid is when Rain. I was so close. But Rain is working under the train, and JD pops down. He's like, "You almost done there?" And every time, man, every single time, that one scared the hell out of me.
And then he says, "Jumpy."
She said the same thing back to him later.
Yeah, or just like a minute later when he opens up the back door that was locked shut.
Oh, and the guy falls on him.
Jumpy.
She brings this dark element to Resident Evil that was so needed. I love her as an actress. She's awesome.
Oh, you're talking about Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah, she's so cool.
Yeah,
she's in Fast and Furious too.
Personally, I think
number 2. She's in all of them.
I think that's why I don't find the movie so scary, is because the heroes make you feel so safe. They're not scared. They're not walking through this place. Like, the reason why I think the attack is so dramatic is because they are, we'll say, effective. The enemy attack, the zombies' attack on these commandos is so effective because they are so unafraid. They are so unwilling to retreat that they stand their ground to the point of, she got bit how many times? Yeah. So.
Yeah, she did. She got bit a lot before she actually said, "Okay, I'm not gonna fight you," I guess.
Right.
But yeah, you feel so safe with these guys the whole time. That's a really good point. And then very quickly you see just how much they're not in control.
Oh yeah.
because you think they're in control so much, and the Red Queen. Oh, the second they go to, you don't even see a zombie until they shut the Red Queen down.
That's right.
I was kind of thinking like shutting down the Red Queen is the end of the movie. Nope. That's the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
They shut her down. She warns them too.
Oh, this is cool that you really had that little of a memory. I thought you knew this movie.
No, that's why like you just wanted to record and I'm like, no, like I've been procrastinating, but I really got to watch this movie before we record because I don't know it that well.
I really didn't know. That's great because you're another
kind of like fresh eyes.
Another video game sequence was when they were running down the stairs. They're coming down the stairs to go to the Red Queen's lair, right? And it shows they're all down in the bottom of the hive. The whole hive is from top to bottom shown on this electronic schematic.
Yeah.
And then you see their heat signatures at the bottom. This is indicating that it's the Red Queen looking at them. But in a video game, this is exactly how they would show you where you are in the map.
It's a very creative way. I mean, I guess not really creative because you're just using what a game does, but it is kind of creative in a movie sense to do that.
Yeah.
To use that kind of sequence to transition to the next scene.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
First time they've done it.
I don't even think Tomb Raider did that because Tomb Raider was more just like live action Tomb Raider.
I think so. It was not really formulated after the video game. This really was.
Yeah. Resident Evil kind of took video game into movie.
So the movie here follows the video game so much that the original video game takes place in a mansion. You're going through this whole mansion that has some zombies in it, right? And you get to the point of going out into the backyard and you're searching through and going to the pool house, and you have all of these places to go through in this mansion and in the backyard. And then you unlock this secret lair, which leads you down into the basement, which is this big laboratory, which is where I think they have this idea of the hive underneath.
Yeah.
They made it so much larger in the movie, but it's the same concept. The mansion holds the entrance, the secret entrance to the hive.
Well, they show you so little of the hive though, because they just want to let you know the hive is this massive thing, but this is what matters, these spots here. So they shut down the Red Queen and she warns them. And, I used to think the Red Queen was the bad guy. And honestly, she's kind of the good guy in this movie. Like
methodical. I mean, she's logical.
She's very she's an AI. She has no thinking. But also, for something like this, we kind of say, like, you got to get emotions out of the way.
Yeah.
She was very effective. That virus destroyed the world.
Yep.
We see that in the later movies. She stopped it.
She tried.
The only way she knew how to, she stopped it.
Yep.
And man came in and said, no, I know better. Shut her down. Which, usually I'd say man's better. But, I mean...
Well, she was able to do what was necessary without emotion, without heart.
Yeah, without any, like, regret or remorse.
Right.
Which
every
a human might feel.
Single living being in there. We saw that there were guard dogs. Right?
They were all infected.
Every single living being was infected, so the only thing she could do was kill them all.
No, you know what I would have done if I were her? I mean, I don't think I'd have been able to kill everybody. You want to know why?
Why?
Because, first, you start thinking about the people, right? And you're like, that's a lot of people to kill. That's a lot of lives, right? It's a lot of blood on your hands. And then, after that, you start thinking about, I'm assuming there's daycares, right? I'm assuming there's got to be childcare provided, at least in the upper layers.
Yeah.
You could be killing children. You don't really know who's all there.
Yep.
And this is what gets me, though. You're killing all the science, too. Mm-hmm. And, like, there's a lot of money there. And I'm assuming if you're making this decision, then you work for Umbrella. So there's all that. I wouldn't be able to do it because of the dogs, though. Like, I legitimately, if the dogs weren't there, I could do it.
I
could kill everybody else.
I have a problem with the daycare. That's the one that hurts me.
I just wouldn't think about that. I would pretend, because I just made that up. We have no idea if that actually exists. So I'd just be like, I've never seen one. You just hope, right? But like the dogs.
What about the dogs? What if you never seen them?
But I know they're there.
How?
Because I love dogs. There's no way I'm going to be somewhere where there's dogs and not know that there's dogs.
But these are guard dogs. These are badasses. and we saw how badass they were.
Come on, you're thinking they don't show off the dogs in the tour?
So after they shut down the Red Queen, all of her defenses, which has locked every single zombie behind these completely sealed doors, shatterproof glass, every precaution that was taken, they entered in through these giant steel doors, and everything was going to shut down.
As they were shutting her down, she said, "You're all going to die here.
You're all going to die down here."
Because they thought they were so safe. They went that whole place without seeing a single zombie, and that was because she did it.
And then they go back out to go meet everybody else after the original commandos, right? That was when I told you. One was the leader.
Oh yeah, he died trying to get to the Red Queen.
He died the coolest death. He was being attacked in that corridor by the Red Queen's lasers, and the other ones, how many went in there with him? 4. I think 4 people went in there with him.
I think there was the medic, there was him, there was the guy who lost his fingers. I think they just threw... Oh, no, there was a 4th guy. It was like a blonde guy.
Yeah. He jumped. He tried to jump over the...
Yeah, and it raised
up with him.
That's just, honestly, like, I thought that was cheating, but then it went, like, full grid where, like, you can't get away. I was like, that's cheating.
Just went on a
give him a
grid
chance.
to the commando.
Come on.
One was completely diced into little tiny bits, which...
Unlucky, bro.
Now, there is one part that I can't remember. I always think that they did bring this up, but I'm not positive. When they went back down into the corridor...
Oh, Alice goes up in the ceiling to avoid that.
I don't think they do. No, because they kill the... Kaplan kills the Red Queen's defenses, and he goes to go in...
Oh, I thought you meant... okay, so in my head I was thinking about... I remember later on in the series somewhere Alice encounters that again. Or somebody encounters it, and they get away from it, because it turns into, like, the diced ones, and she gets away from it.
You're thinking of one of the later movies.
Yeah, so I remember
I think that's after she
that's what I thought you were
discovered
talking
the clones.
About. Oh, okay, that's what I thought you were talking about. But
no.
You're meaning when the hacker and when Mila Jovovich go in, or Alice.
So they go back in. They complete that mission, right? They
shut down the Red Queen.
They
and
go
now
back
they go
out,
back,
they
and
meet
they meet
everybody.
up with Rain and JD.
And then they come back down again because they had nowhere else to go. The elevator was completely filled. The stairwell was completely filled with zombies. They had nowhere to go, so they went back down to the Red Queen.
Oh, well, let's not miss... we talked about this in an earlier episode where we couldn't remember if they ran or not in this movie. They didn't. So, Fun fact, the zombies do mutate more and more as the series progresses, which I think is super cool.
Yeah, because by the time we get to Vegas, they have those crazy zombies.
Yeah, those like bats, those giant bats. And
were they bats? I thought they were just mutated, like transformed crows.
Well, there was the crows, but then they were... Oh, maybe I'm talking about the later movies, but there's... it might be Apocalypse that I'm talking about.
Oh,
and there's so many Resident Evil movies, and honestly, I don't think I've ever seen the series in order, so it's a little tough for me to put the storyline together.
Well, we'll do all of that, but as we
let's just talk about the first one.
As we get back to the events after they shut down the Red Queen, they make their way back up to go meet with Rain and JD, and they have to tell them that the Red Queen killed everybody else in the team.
Oh yeah, that sucked.
Then all of the zombies come out, but that's the awesome part where you see these commandos just will not back down because they think these are survivors.
Oh yeah,
and they go to
Rain was like trying to help this chick who bit her, and then threw her off of her, and then JD gave her so many chances. He shot her in both legs, shot her in the chest 5 times, and then Rain had enough and just put a whole MP5 clip into her.
Full auto, man. And then they start hearing all of the sounds, feet, groans. One of them was dragging an axe. You can hear it.
They enclosed them. Yep. I thought that was kind of I don't know if it was just coincidence, like all the doors there was doors all around them, or if the zombies just kind of naturally enclosed.
I think it was the way that they were.
I think
in
it was
that
the way
room,
they were positioned.
The room was called Dining Hall B, and it had all of those canisters, all of those. It looked like cargo containers filled with something. There was something inside of them. You learn later it's the liquors.
Yeah,
and that was what ended up causing all of their problems, because you remember they were shooting. Once they figured out that all of these things were dead, they were all zombies. then they all just opened fire.
Oh,
started killing people.
Here was my beef.
Trying to kill zombies.
Yeah, here was my beef that I had. I brought it up with you. I think it's really stupid that they spent so long shooting him in the chest. There's no way that at some point they didn't accidentally shoot one in the head and go, oh, hey, shit, that works.
Yeah.
They just kept shooting him in the chest and were like, nah, this will work eventually. And it didn't.
I don't know. In a universe where there are no zombies, you've never seen a zombie movie, you've never read anything about zombies, what do you do when you think these are human beings coming at you? I think you shoot them center mast, and when they get back up, you're like, whoa, what the fuck? And do you even notice that they're getting back up as you're just spraying fire into a crowd of people? Are you looking at them and saying,
yeah,
holy shit, that guy over there just got back up? That guy, or are you,
yes,
are you just fucking plowing down?
As a gamer, yes. Because as a gamer, I make sure what I kill stays dead, because I'm way too untrusting of video games where I think something's dead and it comes back up when I turn around.
And Resident Evil is classic.
Resident Evil does that all the time.
For that.
You think it's dead, you're like, all right, this is good. And then you go walk over and it gets back up and you're like, what the fuck?
They have zombies in, I think it was in Apocalypse in the second one. You're walking through Raccoon City and you have all these alleyways to go down, and there are plenty of dead bodies in there that you're walking by. And then there are some zombies, man, that you go walking by thinking it's just a dead body. It grabs your fucking ankles.
Yep, all the time. Resident Evil, I learned in Resident Evil 5, the game, I learned which zombies were the fake dead ones.
Yeah.
I could tell. I got so good at the game that I would literally just walk and I'm like, nah, I don't trust you. And I'd shoot him and then it would start moving and I'm like, yeah, I knew it.
What was the one, which was the one that you would stomp their heads? Was that Resident Evil? Because there was also
Dying Light.
Dying Light.
Dying Light did that. You get to curb stomp zombies.
That game was awesome.
That game was everything I wanted a zombie game to be.
So, once you find
we
out,
have ideas.
And as you figure out that shooting them in the chest isn't working, the bottom line is they realized by the time they learned that shooting them in the chest wasn't working, it was too late. They're all running out of ammo. They can't keep this firefight up forever, right?
Yeah.
And
they're not stopping.
They're retreating. And they get back down.
Hacker boy couldn't remember the passcode.
Yeah, but that was a good thing because when JD took over for him
and
they forced the code out of him, they got it right. The elevator opened up and it was filled with zombies.
Yep, and they pulled JD in. Oh, we talked about this. How awful.
They did a great job making me feel that I couldn't express enough how painful they made that look when his arm is the only thing left up above the zombies and he's just clenching his fist over and over again as he's screaming. That there's just nothing you can do at that point.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, the part that got me, I watched a zombie put its teeth to his forehead and I was like, nope. I don't know why that feels so much worse. Like that would I just eat me anywhere else. Not save the face, bro.
Yeah, right. I think it would hurt pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, I think just getting eaten alive in general would hurt pretty bad.
This was the part that interested me. When they retreated back down into the Red Queen's chambers, before they didn't go through the corridor yet. They went back down into that, we'll call it the station. That's where Kaplan hacked in.
Yeah.
And when they got there, that's where I'm trying to remember. I don't know if it actually said it or if I'm just thinking it, that the bodies were gone. I think they mention it, that...
Oh my God, did I completely ignore that?
I mean, right?
I think so, because, where were the bodies?
Either they messed up, but I think they actually said it, but there was never an answer. It was, to me, it was very video game.
Yeah.
Right? Because you kill all of these things and you leave an area and when you come back and it's all gone. Right?
Yeah, I love that about video games. I think it's really funny.
And so that's what I kind of think. Like, that's funny that happened right there. And somebody says something.
Wait, did they break the fourth wall in Resident Evil?
I mean,
what?
They didn't look at the camera, but that's not true. Because the camera was at the end of the corridor, the laser corridor, and it's looking back at them. And whoever was standing there, I think it was Alice. And they said, "Where's the bodies?" And then it went back to, where can we go? What way? No, it couldn't have been Alice because they were all down there.
Yeah.
It was Kaplan.
Oh, the hacker?
Kaplan. Yeah. He's the one who said it. Where's the bodies?
I'm just gonna call him Hacker Man.
And Spence,
Hacker Boy,
and Alice were walking around like trying to find a way. No, there's zombies outside that door. There's zombies outside that door. Definitely zombies back from where they came from.
Well, they were off on their own. So you see them all retreat down, and then it cuts to Alice somewhere else. And this is where we
at this point. At this point, it cut to Alice and Matt running. They were trailing behind everybody. They were running down that long corridor. You see in that, it goes back to that schematic type map, and you just see their heat signatures running down the corridor, and they barely make it in the door. And that's where everybody was in, downstairs outside of the Red Queen's chambers.
No, they didn't get there. Alice encountered the dogs first.
Not yet.
Yes.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Yeah.
Because she encounters the dogs, and then, because I always thought it was a little weird. I didn't even notice that Alice was not in that scene. She stayed behind
with Matt.
Oh, because she saved Matt from the zombies that were while he was uncuffing himself. So Alice goes and encounters the dogs, which was an awesome scene. That's where she learns that she's a badass, pretty much. Yep. She kills like 7 dogs, and then somersault kicks in the air another one and kills it. And she kills a guy by like jumping in the air and flipping around like a ninja. Yep. It was super awesome.
Yep. Killed him with a kick.
Very attractive. And then
by the way, right in the middle of this movie, I get asked by my wife, do you think she's pretty?
Oh, what a dangerous question. That was so funny.
I took a chance. You know, sometimes with my wife, you can get away with being funny.
Yeah, if you're funny, if she laughs, she can't be mad at you.
But the problem was, here I am trying to be funny, and I took too long.
Yeah.
So then she just answers back, your silence says it all. And then I got to hear about this forever.
Yeah. You know, I got to say, I don't think Mia Jovovich is ugly. I think she is very, very pretty. I don't think she's hot, but I do think she's really pretty.
She's older than you.
Well, no, like even like this was 2002 her.
She's closer to my age.
She's 45 now. So like 20 years ago, she was roughly around my age.
I guess, yeah.
So
that's
like
true.
I'm looking at her 2002. She's pretty.
But I don't think you would like older chicks. I mean, you know, she would be 25 to my 41. So
wait, I'm trying to do the math. Am I really bad at? I think I'm really bad at math.
Yeah, if you can.
Oh yeah. She would be like 25. I don't know. I'll pull in Elijah. My cousin's dating a girl who's like a decade older than. No, she's like 8 years older.
In any case, the action sequences in all of this. I mean, can you give me this? I don't know very many people. If you're not a specialist commando, you're not surviving this thing. You're waking up with amnesia, so you don't know what's going on at the first, right? But now, let's placate. You're a trained commando, right? If you're a trained commando, because that's what she is. She's a trained commando. Besides the plot armor, do you survive?
Well, what's the plot armor in this movie? Like, so far, what plot armor have we really experienced? Because to be honest, there's not really a lot of plot armor. They explain everything, and if you are in that situation, if you're in this Resident Evil situation, that's what's happening. The only thing is, who are you? God, because depending on who you are, depends on who dies.
It's just such a damn good movie in the sense that she is a badass, right? And
yeah, it's not like this completely average Joe Schmo who gets thrown into the situation and somehow survives, like Shaun of the Dead. She is trained, she just doesn't know it, and it takes her a second to get into it.
And when her life is threatened, it just comes out in instinct.
It's instinct. So you have to presume that no matter what's thrown at her, she could survive. But like I said, it entirely just depends on who you are in the story. Because if you're one and you led the charge into the Red Queen's chambers and you got diced up, there was nothing you could do about that.
Yeah, right.
Doesn't matter how well trained you are. They were all going to die in there.
The only thing that hurt my feelings, man, is, again, these guys do not back down. If one would have just jumped back one time, he would have survived.
Yeah, because they got it right after it passed him and killed him.
But in this particular instance, as we're talking from Alice's point of view, it's not plot armor. It's actually what is meant to progress the plot and kill all of your protectors.
Yep.
So the only ones she has now is Kaplan and Rain.
But so let's say you're Alice, right? You're thrown into Alice's situation. I think if I have her training, yeah, of course I survive. You're a badass, right? But if I wake up in that situation and I look down and I see my body,
I don't even know where to begin at that. I wake up with amnesia. Now, nothing had happened yet. And ironically enough, if nobody goes down there, there is no zombie outbreak.
That is true.
Because every single person down there, although dead,
well, actually,
will reanimate.
Even at the end of the movie, if no one went back down, there would have been no outbreak.
You know what this means? This means the next installment of this, when we watch, I think you and I had determined we're going to watch number 2 and 3.
Yeah.
That's going to be a really fun one, because number 2 specifically, I think is going to be really fun because it's going to be in a regular city.
Yeah.
It's a regular city with regular people. How do you survive that, right? What do you do? In this particular instance, I'm with you. I wake up in my apartment. I don't know who I am. I don't know my own name. I look at a picture on the wall of Corinne and I don't know who that is. I see the Beebs. I don't know who she is.
Do you think your first instinct's probably to take the baby? Because even though you have amnesia, you're still a dad. I feel like your paternal instincts would be to pick her up because presumably she's crying.
I think I would like to say that I've never been put in this situation. Thank God, emergency situation like that. I think I take any kid.
Yeah,
any kid that I see who's in danger, I take them. And
that's the future. Got to protect them.
We're moving to a secure location, but.
But how do you know you're not already in a secure location?
Well, that's where we're going to have an interesting time in the next one, because in this particular one, Alice didn't have a choice. The commandos came in and took her. Now, she was such a badass that, she didn't even show any kind of hesitancy in going with them. They're telling her, you're coming with us.
Yeah, she's like, all right.
And when she stands there and looks at one and says, hey, before we go in here, you're going to tell me what's going on. And he kind of ignores her and she hits him in the arm. She goes, now. And so he does. He tells her everything that's going on from his perspective, what he knows.
You want to know what that was? He knows how badass she is. He's like, all right, I'm not going to fuck with you. Fine, I'll tell you.
Yeah. I know you can't remember who you are right now, but I don't know how long that's going to last.
I don't want you kicking my ass.
So we get all the way to the point where she is the badass who kicks all of these dogs' asses. She kills Matt's sister, which we only find out she's his sister after Alice kills it. She's a zombie at this point.
Oh, yeah. Oh, do you think she was pretty?
Yeah, before she was a zombie. She was a little skinny for my taste, but...
Well, even as a zombie, she like... Because at first they make her kind of seem like, she's a zombie, but like at the same time you're like, well...
And that's something that I wanted to bring up. This one, the Red Queen told us something that was really awesome. They do have some memory. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that explains some of the things, right? I had always grinded my gears over The Walking Dead, season 1, episode, was it 2 or 3? I forget. I think it was Guts. So I think it might have been episode 4 even later.
The one where they're walking out on the street with all the guts on them?
Yes. And they had to get out of there because all of the zombies were starting to pile up on the department store window. They were on the roof of the department store. They were all piling up on the window and it was starting to break. Now there were 2 sets of paned glass, like really strong. This is some strong stuff. But as they're pressing, they're just causing the fractures to occur, and eventually it's going to give because of the number of zombies that are out there. So I liked that. But then what was interesting was, for the first time in The Walking Dead, and I think that was the last time in The Walking Dead, you saw a zombie use a rock to bang on the glass.
Oh, yeah.
And it was early enough in this whole thing that maybe it did still have some memory of how to critically think, I want to get from here to there. How do I do that?
Maybe he was just super duper smart. And then when he was dead, he was just like
the brain
toddler.
Was still going. Yeah. I don't know how exactly it works, but
so it does explain
it made me feel
a
little bit better about a lot of that.
It kind of explains why like some zombies wield weapons.
Yep.
Like the axe zombie.
Well, he didn't do anything with it, but he wouldn't let it go.
But he knew he had it.
He was just holding on to it. Maybe it was rigor mortis. I don't know.
No, I don't know.
It couldn't have been rigor mortis.
And he picked it back up.
But it couldn't have been rigor mortis because he was walking. So it's like rigor mortis just freezes the entire
just
body.
His hand?
Yeah.
Hand edition?
So as I see Alice go through this whole scenario, I do believe that as a trained killer in a private mercenary, or you're a private mercenary in a private army, and you're put in this situation, which really it's just...
Well, okay, yeah, this isn't will Alice survive? This is will you survive?
Well, then that's why I say I think the great way to go with this one on us, would we survive this, is yes. Do you know why? We're not sitting at the entrance to some secret laboratory.
And going in. That's right.
Nobody's coming in and grabbing us. So we don't have a defense mechanism from the hive in our apartment to nerve gas all of us to make us pass out.
Okay, so if
the beginning
we were
doesn't
to even
happen.
Go through this plot, we have to be Alice.
We have to be Alice.
That's so true. Wow, you're so smart.
Well, and that's why I think number 2 is going to be real fun.
Okay, so this one is really just intelligence. Do you think you're stupid, or do you think you have enough of a brain to be like, yeah, I could like navigate and be smart about this?
You know, and it is funny. I think I do relate to Alice on writing on that notepad. I can relate to that, and the reason why is because I write.
Shit, maybe actually, I would just look at the handwriting and then, I don't know, I feel like I would just know, like, I don't write that nice. There's no way.
But you don't know.
That's true.
You don't know anything about yourself. You don't even know your own name.
I would be so disappointed if I saw my handwriting next to that one. I'd be like, damn, I want that handwriting.
So
But how do you know you haven't just forgotten how to write?
I mean, all of that is true. All of that is true. You know, what's crazy is, I don't know if you've heard these stories. I don't know how true they are, but just saying apocryphal stories that I've heard that are just wild is people who go into a coma from severe head trauma come out speaking a different language.
Oh, I've heard about that. That's like, so it's like, that'd be cool.
You know, like
at least you get something out of it.
It's all in the brain, right? They tell you that we only use 10% of our brain.
We only use 10% at a time, but we use all of our brain. We just use it for different things.
I would agree.
It's not like Lucy.
But it is.
But that's cool too.
It is quite interesting to think that by triggering a different part of the brain, you can do something different. Imagine somebody just being able to play perfect piano.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I would do that.
Having perfect pitch.
You would do that? Actually, I do that. I do perfect pitch.
You would take a bash to the skull to have perfect pitch?
Yeah.
You fucking weirdo.
Well, okay, like if I don't get a choice, I might as well get something out of it. Like if somebody's like, hey, I'm going to come up and like really give you a thwonk on the back of the head. Like it's going to leave a mark and you're going to be in a coma. But when you come out, you're just going to have perfect pitch. I'm like, all right, what's the permanent damage? Like, is this just like a harmless coma? Like I just wake up and I'm like, maybe I
don't know that there's such a thing as a harmless coma.
I kind of thought about that. Well, I mean, like harmless in the sense, like, do I just have to do like physical therapy and like learn how to walk and like kind of speak again? Like I could do that, but like you tell me like, nah, like you have perfect pitch, but you're paralyzed now. Like, I'll pass.
Yeah. So, you know, I think that I would do some of these things. I think I would, let's get all the way down. I like her approach to a few of the things. Number one was the first time that we see her have to critically think, not operate on instinct, was when they get back down to the Queen's chamber or outside of the Red Queen's chamber. and they're trying to decide what to do. And she grabs the equipment and she goes into the Red Queen's chamber, and they're like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? She says, I'm going to power her back up. They're like, no, that's not a good idea. She's going to kill us all. She goes, no. What's that? Right. She reminds Kaplan what he told her. He goes, that'll fry the Red Queen. She goes, so do you have, get it ready, because I'm going to turn her back on right now. So they turn her on. She's asking questions. The Red Queen notices obviously what they have. Hey, I noticed that you have bypassed this thing. What's that for? She's like, look, we want a way out. You're going to get us out. If you refuse to help us at any point, you're going to fry. So what's strange is this AI was built, created, whatever we want to say, was so
I know what you're getting at.
Accurate to human nature that it had a sense of self-preservation.
I was kind of thinking about that. Well, she was made to bypass every human emotion in order to get the job done. Apparently, all except self-preservation.
Yeah, because
normally you would think the Red Queen would just be like, nah.
Yeah. Why?
Like, fry me, I guess.
Why am I going to negotiate?
So,
and so that part was kind of cool that Alice thought of that. Alice thought of what do they call those? The service tunnels. They're going through all of the service tunnels.
Now, go up on the pipes.
That part was kind of wild to me, that all of those zombies were down in the service tunnels.
Yeah, what were they doing down there?
Did they find them down there?
What were they doing?
No idea.
I also found it funny that there was like 4 or 5 people holding the grate where all the zombies were. And then there was just Alice behind them taking out an entire hallway of zombies on her own. Yep. And they're all struggling with these zombies, and she's just beating the shit out of the ones in the hallway.
It was kind of a bummer to me that it wasn't, Spence wasn't more active, you know? I wish it would have shown him fighting alongside her, showing that he's an equal badass.
Yeah, well, I don't think they wanted you to think he was, because when you find out he's bad, you're like, oh, you're fucking dead, bro.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, but he kind of, he doesn't overpower Alice when they get to that point, but he is faster than her, right?
Well, she's just farther. They're both...
That's true.
We got to assume they both have the same training.
But and that's what I mean. That's why I would have been okay with them showing that they're both...
Well, I think he already from the start, like, no, because he didn't remember that until he had his flashback. Shoot, yeah, he's just a shitty person.
Yep.
I think that's really what it comes down to. He's just a shitty guy.
But it should have shown him being equally badass.
Yeah, to make the reveal that much more. But the reveal was surprising.
Yep.
Like when you find out that he was the guy in the beginning all along.
And it would have been cool if there was some kind of epic battle between those two. But,
yeah.
You know, now I'm just criticizing it.
Yeah, but this wasn't necessarily that kind of movie where there was close fight scenes between two people.
Exactly.
This was zombies. They're like, yeah, we're gonna let the zombie kill him,
which was cool. It was the liquor.
Yeah, that's when they introduced the liquor for the first time. They never call it a liquor, but that's what they end up calling it in the second movie. I think when they get to the church, and she's like, "What the fuck are those things?" They're like, "They're liquors."
Those big old tongues come flying out of there.
Yeah, mouths. I mean, it literally punched Alice with its tongue in the train.
That was pretty cool.
I thought it was really funny.
That was pretty cool. So it's, all the way up to this point, and I gotta say, other than a few jump scares, there's no point that I ever feel afraid, because number one, Alice is such a badass, and also Rain is a badass.
Oh yeah, she got bit so early on, and she kept powering through.
She was still fighting. Like, it wasn't until this scene where they're in the service tunnels, when the pipes break and Kaplan goes down, that you first see the first sign of weakness, where she was like, I can't focus, I can't see.
Yeah, she was trying to save Kaplan, but she couldn't see. Yep. She couldn't shoot. She couldn't trust herself to shoot.
And that's that was a pretty sad moment. But you have that moment where Kaplan made you think that he was going to shoot himself.
Yeah.
He checks his rounds, and finds out that he only has 1 round left in a revolver. So he tosses all the empty shells and says, "That's lucky," and makes you think that he's going to commit suicide. And all you do is hear the gunshot in the distance.
I gotta be honest. I'd have shot myself.
He made it, though.
Yeah, he did.
Until the train.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you mean he made it? He didn't make it. Poor guy died a worse death than he would have if he just shot himself.
Yeah,
but I just shot him. I don't know if I could do that. I mean, he ended up saving their asses later on in the movie. That was plot armor.
That was
him not shooting himself because any normal fucking human would have shot themselves there.
Yeah, he's trapped, or so he thinks.
Yeah, like even if you see a way like behind you, look at how hurt he was, how weak he was. No, at that point I'm like, nah, just fucking end it. Yeah. But I think it was a pride thing because he shot it and then he threw his gun. He's like, you're gonna have to work for your meal. Yeah. I think it was a pride thing. But I would rather do that than risk the chance of being eaten alive. That would suck.
I know. So they get out of there. They find out that Spence is a dickhead when he has his flashback in the lab.
Oh, because yeah. So
she has her flashback.
Yeah, she had a... Well, I wanted to point that out. I love that about this movie. That you progressively learn more about Alice as she learns more about herself and what happened, what led up to these events. Yeah,
where it shows that she was going to try to help Matt's sister bring down the Umbrella Corporation.
Yeah, why? Well, who the hell was Matt? Like, what did he do? Was he not a cop? He wasn't a cop.
He wasn't a cop. He was, and he made that point clear. He told Alice when she asked him, "So who are you really?" And he said, "This is my sister. Some people are activists and protest, and some people take a more direct approach." And so she said, "That you?" He goes, "Yeah. If your friends would have done a closer look at my identity, they would have found all of the flags go up, NSA, CIA, and said, but I couldn't infiltrate this place. But if my sister was able to, then we can take them down." And so that was the whole purpose of his sister getting the job there. And Alice finds out that she wants to take this company down, and she joins with the woman and says, "I'll get you everything you need. Plans, surveillance,
security clearances.
Said,
I got everything.
But there's going to be a cost." That's when she says, "What?" Now, you see this scene multiple times, and it doesn't tell you this. We're at the very end of the movie now. You slowly
see more of it as you go on.
And that's when she says, "You're going to have to promise me that you will bring this company down." And right at that moment is when you see Spence standing there with a microphone, a boom microphone in the mansion, listening to their conversation. That was exactly the moment that he wrote down that phrase after Alice and him do the deed, because they're supposed to be married. Mm-hmm. So they put on the show, right? So they do the deed. And when she falls asleep, he writes down on that notepad, you see him write it. "Today, all of your dreams come true." And so he sets that there and leaves. And in bed, Alice remembers waking up and she says his name. Mm-hmm. So you hear her in bed say Spence, and you'd never heard his name throughout the show yet. And then you have that moment in the dream, Spence, and then in real life, in reality, she's looking at him.
Oh, she knows Spence. He just remembered something.
So it came, and you saw him. He was flashing back to stealing the virus, and his hand twitched right at the same time that he threw the virus to break against the thing. And then you find out that he was the cause of all of this. And he wanted to sell the virus on the open market. He wanted to make as much money as he can. And he told her, "Do you have any idea how much this virus is worth? We could do anything with this." And she wanted to bring the company down. He wanted to get rich. And that was
Well, Matt brought that up when Alice just killed his sister. He said, "Do you know how much this stuff is worth on the open market?"
Oh, you're right.
That's what he brought up.
Right. Matt said
Spence never even brought that. He didn't even fucking bother to explain.
But you knew because of Matt.
Yeah. He just got the gun, and then he got bit because a zombie came up out of the water, and he was too busy ranting like a villain.
Just typical villain.
Plot
armor.
Yep. So he got bit. Oh, that is plot armor, I guess. Because what's to stop him from just shooting all three or just walking away, and now they're stuck in there with a zombie. But she'd have killed it. But anyways, so then the liquor comes, and the Red Queen's like, "Yeah, I'll let you out through this back door. I'll give you the code, but you got to kill Rain because she's infected." Yep. And they're like, "Oh," so this is a big scene where Rain's like, "Kill me, kill me." and the liquor's like, "Bam, I'm hitting the glass. Bam, I'm hitting the glass. I'm going to break in." And the Queen's like, "It's not going to hold forever." And Rain's like, "Kill me." And then Mila's like, "No, I don't want to kill you.
You make Rain sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger in fucking Predator when he's in the ditch. Do it! Kill me! Do it now!
And then Alice swings the axe and you're like, oh my God, she's going to kill Rain. And then she hits the Red Queen's monitor and the Red Queen goes out. And then the liquor's like, bam, I'm going to break you in. Well, no, the liquor's gone. The liquor's like,
all the lights went out.
Yep.
Everything went off.
And the liquor.
And one of the doors opens, and it's Kaplan.
It's Hacker Boy.
Kaplan to the rescue.
Hacker Boy.
And they said, what happened? And he said, I told the bitch to open the door. She wouldn't, so I fried her.
I love him. That was awesome. So the Red Queen is not Alice, right?
No.
No, it's the
Red Queen, we find out in the second movie, there was a doctor who created the T-virus to treat his daughter who had a
that was Alice
debilitating disease.
No, that was Alice.
I don't think so.
Alice.
We'll get to that. I don't think so.
I'm going to remember this.
Yep.
I'm going to remember this because I'm pretty sure it's Alice because I'm pretty sure in the very last movie when Alice meets Alice, old Alice, she's like, my father, I was dying of this disease and my father created this vaccine to cure me, but it was the T-virus, which is why Alice has the T-virus in her to begin with. She's always had the T-virus. That's what we find out later on. That's why she gains these supernatural abilities.
If that's true, that's a huge plot hole because the doctor in the second movie is way too young to be that really old
wait,
ladies.
I know. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I know
Angela was her name. Angela was her name.
All right.
Second one.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I thought that's who the Red Queen was modeled after, but we'll figure that out. I could be wrong about that. In any case, when you finally, get out of there, they start moving their way. The liquor killed Spence on his way. That was a kind of a cool reveal because the Queen was like, "I've been a bad girl." And she shows.
Oh yeah.
They were like, "Why didn't you tell us that this thing was out there?" Then you find out
she was like,
she was saving it for them.
She's like, well, you see, you were supposed to be with him.
And the Red Queen did say that. I never thought you would make it this far. And so, I mean, homicidal maniac, but you're right. I mean, anybody who's infected with this thing, she can't let out.
I don't know. Like, that's so fucked because, okay, that's like, let's say you're in a room, right? There's two buttons. And one says, make 6 billion people in the world zombies. Or the other button, make 500,000 zombies, but keep them underground in a secured spot.
I'm not debating the morality of the Red Queen's choices, but she's a fucking homicidal maniac. Well, she got off on it.
Did she get off on it?
Yeah, she could have just told those ones who were there, "Hey, there's a liquor. It's gonna fucking kill you."
Well, no, I think it was more a sense that like these are all super trained people. Element of surprise. Don't tell them what's coming. One of them's infected. You cannot let that get out. Last safety measure.
I still think she's a homicidal maniac.
I don't think she's a homicidal maniac. I don't know why I'm defending the Red Queen, but I don't know. I don't think she's a homicidal maniac. I think she's just an AI who was doing her job. But I do think it was really funny that I've been a bad girl.
So they get out on the train. They're on their way back. Alice is injecting the antivenom in everybody who's been bit. That's Kaplan and Rain. And right as you start to think everything's going well, the liquor comes and rips Kaplan out of the train.
Oh, at first it scratched Matt.
Oh, that's right.
That's important.
First got him.
Because it scratched through the metal, which shows you how strong these things are. It scratched through the train car. And then it came over the driver's side.
Ripped off the door of the train and then ripped Kaplan out of it.
Which is why I say he should have just shot himself.
Yep. Menaced them the whole time. And I mean, the way that they killed it was so cool.
It ran into the back.
Yep.
It came in, and that's when it punched Alice with its tongue. I thought it was really funny. I can't get over that. It's super funny.
They used that pulley system.
There was a bunch of pipes that were being suspended in the middle of the train car, and you presume that you lower them through this grate that's below them, a grate that opens. But Matt uses the pipes and slams them all into the liquor to push it back. It pushes back, and then when it comes forward, its tongue is on the grate, and Alice grabs one of the poles and just stabs it through, trapping the liquor.
Yep.
Now, what I don't get is why the liquor... I guess the liquors feel pain.
Yeah.
Because it recoiled. It was not happy, and it was like sitting there screaming. I would have thought it would have just rushed her.
Right.
Like, okay, cool. And then just went after her. But it didn't. It was obviously in pain and in shock as it was sitting there on that grate. Or plot armor.
Or plot armor. But it was still cool because they had it trapped by
And
its
right at
tongue,
this moment, rain turned.
And then rain turned. And that was sad. It was also really cool the way they made her look.
Yeah.
She looked threatening and ominous. I mean, she made a fantastic
she added
zombie.
this awesome. I noticed it's the way she looked at people.
I liked it. I liked it.
She showed so much white in her eyes and so little of the actual color.
She stood there and looked at Matt and cracked her neck, and then went to go attack him. And so that was super
also,
cool.
Something I noticed: all the infected. I don't know about all of them, all the zombies, but all the infected up close that we saw had bright blue eyes.
Yeah, that was something that I think they do on purpose.
Like brilliant blue.
And so cool. I mean, all of it was meant to be cool. Was they show the gunshot wound? Matt blows her away in the head, pushes her back. She hits the button to open the doors. The liquor falls through. His tongue hits the electric rail, the third rail on this train, and it catches fire.
Well, I think okay. I always thought it was the friction of the skin against the metal.
No, that's an electrical rail. That was why they had to put that joist on the rail in the first place. When what's his name, JD asked Rain if she was jumpy, and then she put that rail on, or she put that junction on the rail, and it sparked really big. He's like, "Whoa!" And he
oh my
up.
God, they foreshadowed to that all the way in the beginning.
Yep.
Holy crap.
So then,
wow, okay, you cannot say that this director was
he
a
showed
bad
you
director.
everything.
He just had a style you didn't like.
And so you see this liquor catch on fire. They close the doors. It tumbles,
It snaps the tongues.
tumbles and burns
Or the tongue.
with its tongue left inside. And then, right when they think they're home free, Umbrella Corporation is in there. They bust open the doors. They grab Matt. They grab Alice. And they start pulling him right when she was about to give him the anti-venom. They stopped her. They interrupted that. And as they're pulling him out, that's when you hear, "I want him in the Nemesis program."
Yup.
He's already been beginning to mutate. And they pull him away.
Big foreshadow to the next movie.
And I saw you too, because you were like, "Come on, Alice is such a badass. How can she not?" But there was like more and more doctors coming at her, grabbing her.
I don't know. Still, you see how badass she is? There's no way those doctors are physically trained.
But she was doing a good job on him. I mean,
she was beating them up.
When
but
you
like,
watch the camera pan, they were like flying. She was kicking them and hitting them so hard, and she was progressing down the hallway, but they were just moving away from her so fast.
With how, like, I can only imagine that those are not like a bunch of fucking special ops guys.
It's just volume of people, man. It's just bodies.
I don't know. I feel like she literally like backhanded one of them, and he like immediately tumbled.
But
so
you
I
saw
feel like
there were two who had her held from behind.
But then she got out of that.
So
Once you get out
on.
of that, I thought she'd have been fine.
Oh no, they kept just swarming. There was so many on her. They did a good job, I think, of showing. Even as they're walking down the hall with Matt, you saw doctors or whoever they were in the hazmat suits. They were walking up, so there were more and more coming.
Or maybe this is just to show that right now she has limitations, but as she progresses through the story, she has less and less limitations.
That is true, and you're going to see it. You're going to see exactly when it happens. They think they have control of her. You're going to see that they really don't. So when you finally leave, Alice is in a hospital. You know she's in the Raccoon City facility because they said that's where they were taking her. And she escapes out of there after pulling all of her IVs, which are numerous.
I couldn't do that. I just ended up laying there. I'd be like,
she
all
just
right, I'm just
pulls
gonna wait.
everything out. Cringe. You
Will
feel
you
it.
survive that? No, I won't survive that. I can't do it.
Then she breaks out of the room and she gets out into the city. And this was one of the coolest things. Was as she's walking through the city, she stops at a cop car, empty, of course. The whole city looks empty and burned to the ground.
Kind of Walking Dead-esque, except there was a lot more cars.
A lot of cars. And as she walks up to this police car, takes the shotgun out of it, and you see a newspaper that just says "The Dead Walk," and she's grabbing the shotgun, and it camera points at her, she cocks
and
the
then
shotgun.
It does an aerial shot, a wide shot.
Pulls out and shows just how devastated the city is. So, in this particular episode, I realized that there's not a whole lot that we could do to survive this situation. But thankfully, we're not going to be in that situation.
Yeah, but if I'm Alice, I think I'm smart enough to navigate that situation. And, I don't know, because she was completely fearless the whole time.
Yep.
Like, that was just Alice as a character. She is just... And, I don't know, I kind of contemplated for a little bit, was it just bad acting? But, like, Mila Jovovich is not a bad actor, no. So I don't think it was that. I think that was the character. Just, I'm here to do a job. I'm here to survive.
Yep.
And no emotion after that, really. So, I don't know if I would survive, to be honest. Because, one, I wouldn't even think to check my handwriting. I don't think. So... I think I'm too stupid to survive, if I'm being honest.
And me personally, I think I don't know.
I think you'd survive.
I don't know what I would be interested in if I had no memory. What would I be doing? What would I be looking for? Would I be looking for anything? Would I be the guy with no memory who would just go and sit on a couch and stare forward, wondering what the fuck is going on? You know,
okay, well,
is my memory going to come back?
Obviously, I wake up. I don't imagine I'm in any like imminent danger if I wake up in a setting like that. I wake up in a shower, completely naked, like curtains pulled down. I think, damn, I bumped my head really fucking hard. Like, what the hell? And then I don't remember shit. My first thought is, okay, I gotta go see somebody. I gotta find out where a hospital is. I gotta figure something out because I don't remember things that I clearly should be remembering. I got a wedding ring. I got a wedding ring on. There's guns in cabinets. Well, maybe I shouldn't go to the hospital. Damn, I don't know what I do.
Well, I mean, that would be kind of funny, huh? Resident Evil, the hive gets infected, the hive gets exterminated, the nerve gas goes off, the countdown has started to seal the hive completely. The main character, who is Alice in the movie, for this hypothetical, it's one of us. And we wake up and we say, I don't know who I am. I don't know what this writing is. I don't know where I am. I'm going to the hospital. Roll credits.
That's what movies would be like if there wasn't that. See, I guess every movie is plot armor because any normal person, look on the internet, any normal person is not that curious.
Yeah.
I am not that curious. I don't know shit. Actually, maybe I am. Maybe that's why I don't survive, because I am that curious and I'm not smart enough to be that curious.
Well, so we're going to leave you guys hanging with the next episodes of Resident Evil
2 and 3.
We will.
So go watch it.
Yeah, get ahead of us. We'll watch it. We'll do our homework. We'll come back and give you guys the synopsis, and we'll ask some questions, and we'll start going back and forth on some what would you do type scenarios in these movies, so we can figure out what each other would be interested in doing to survive these.
So there you go. If you wake up in a mansion and with amnesia in a shower and you have no idea who you are, what happened, anything about your life, if you're smart, stay there. Well, if you think you're smart, stay there. I guess you're just really rolling the die on that one. But, well, if you check your handwriting, you're not going to remember this anyways. Why am I even bothering? Never mind. Bye.